Buick has quietly been enjoying winning season after winning season with strong sales over the last 5 years, and it currently ranks as General Motors' second best-selling brand globally. Customers aren't complaining either, as the premium brand has garnered J.D. Power awards in customer service and sales experience. This is in large part thanks to the seemingly never-fading popularity of crossovers and SUVs, of which the brand sells no fewer than 3. However, Buick hasn't given up on cars yet, as evidenced by the introduction of its all-new 2018 Regal. But the company is, however, distancing itself from staid sedans by launching the model initially in Sportback and wagon forms. More precisely, station wagon form. And Buick will say so using its outside voice. Following the Regal Sportback and its execution GS form is the Regal TourX, which is articulated TourX and not TourX, in light of the fact that, I don't have the foggiest idea, TourX sounds lumpy and tough. Which, paying little mind to how much pompous dark cladding the vehicle wears, the TourX isn't. What the TourX is, as the corporate talking heads will state, is a crossover before the crossover. Truly, that is as flinch commendable an announcement as station wagon is spat with hate. In any case, truly, consider me somebody who couldn't care less about the disgrace of the wagon, the minivan, the any vehicle that isn't a crossover. All I ask is that you do you, however you do it well. Furthermore, the 2018 Buick Regal TourX does the wagon thing great. We test drove early creation models in Sedona, Arizona, and the TourX checked all the crates a run-of-the-mill smaller crossover would, yet with a few key favorable circumstances. First of all, it has much more space than you might suspect. With a width of 73.3 inches, the Regal TourX is more extensive than the sport station wagons Buick esteems close contenders and is on par in bigness versus the most prevalent of minimal crossovers. The Audi A4 Allroad and Volvo V60 Cross Country measure in at 72.5 and 71.8 inches wide, separately, while the best offering Toyota RAV4 comes in at 72.6 inches. In all actuality, the TourX sports longer sheet metal with its 196.3-inch general length, which stretches out past the 189.6 crawls of the Subaru Outback and 184.5 creeps of the Nissan Rogue. Be that as it may, cargo volume should even now could not hope to compare to the resin-fabricated, higher-riding crossovers, isn't that so? Behind the second line, the TourX measures in at 32.7 cubic feet of trunk space. The A4 Allroad offers 24.2 cubic feet, the BMW 3 Series Sports Wagon has 27.5 cubic feet, and the V60 Cross Country records 29.5 cubic feet. The crossovers do outpace the competition with 39.3 cubic feet of cargo for the Rogue and a comparative 39.2 cubic feet in the Honda CR-V, yet once the back seats are down, the TourX showcases its cargo intensity. With an enormous 73.5 cubic feet, the Buick loses just to the CR-V's 75.8 cubic feet, while the Rogue and RAV4 offer 70.0 and 73.4 cubic feet separately. Noteworthy, of the wagons, just the Outback, 73.3, approaches, while the A4 Allroad 58.5, 3 Series, 61.5, and V60 Cross Country, 63.0, don't. Another favorable position of the TourX is its tallness. At 58.4 inches tall, the Buick is indistinguishable to the Volvo and about a large portion of an inch shorter than the Audi. The stature of the Subi and Honda are a coordinating 66.1 inches, which is as yet shorter contrasted with the 68.0 inches tall Nissan. For what reason does this make a difference? Since in case you will stack that much stuff within your vehicle, you most likely will pull stuff outside of it, as well. All the more particularly over it. As decent as ride tallness is for some individuals, there are numerous others, like me, who incline toward a reachable load stature. When you're all of 5'2" with shoes on, endeavoring to lift a 6-foot-tall Christmas tree off a SUV or crossover, for instance, is neither simple nor rich. Certainly entertaining as heck, however. What isn't a giggling matter is the means by which the Regal TourX handles. It is nearer to the ground than the previously mentioned crossovers, and its 5.7 crawls of ground leeway, albeit a large portion of an inch higher than the Regal Sportback, is still not exactly the A4 Allroad, 6.5, and V60 Cross Country, 7.9, and Outback, 8.7. In any case, for all its length, the TourX drives like a car. For all its openness, it feels little. What's more, with Bic's propelled all-wheel drive framework as standard, the medium-size wagon stays created when blacktop transforms into free rock and shakes. Using a smooth twin grasp raise differential, the AWD framework can send torque to either raise wheel, requiring just to profit by the footing of one wheel even as the other three are turning. Despite the fact that the TourX isn't intended to navigate totally off the generally accepted way to go, its AWD could keep you from getting into a stick in any case. Also, for those with, imagine a scenario in which thoughts of floating, indeed, the footing control can be killed. The Regal TourX highlights the same 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine found in the Sportback, which offers a yield of 250 drive and 295 pound-feet of torque. These numbers best its European partners put something aside for the A4L Road's 252 horsepower, however do altogether surpass the Outback's iron-deficient 175 HP 2.5-liter Level 4, however a 256 HP 3.6-liter Level 6 is discretionary. The TourX isn't sporty, nor is it publicized to be, however it is adequate. Power is bounty for the requirements of the normal buyer, notwithstanding considering the rise of the Sedona territory comes to past 5,000 feet. Combining turned out to be of little result, particularly as the huge windows offered a reviving measure of perceivability. Passing force didn't run out either when at roadway speeds or while climbing. The 8-speed automatic transmission was sufficiently smooth that I didn't see it much. There is slight understeer, however the general controlling could rest easy and responsive. Body roll was negligible, not at all like crossovers. The TourX offers a by and large wonderful ride. Our test vehicles included standard dynamic clamor cancellation, however were not furnished with the COM-tuned tires which will be equipped onto models landing in dealerships now. In any case, all things being equal, the lodge was moderately tranquil, particularly thinking about the high measure of glass boards of differing size, including the panoramic moonroof. Plan shrewd, the Buick may somewhat take after, say, the Volvo, yet I observed its style to be sleeker, with clever subtleties like a chrome strip that reaches out from the A-column to the taillights. A character line that keeps running along the lower bit of the entryways additionally features the Tourer's stretched, however slim look. Did I say that plastic cladding, however? Gratefully covered up in darker hues, brighter and lighter shades do the vehicle an injury by highlighting the massive off-road look of the dark plastic, despite the fact that the TourX doesn't have such capacity. Additionally, what is up with that little score at the highest point of the curve? By and large, the Regal TourX is a fine vehicle and should deal with a large portion of what purchasers may ask of it. Where the vehicle may get dinged is on its value, which can get up there, and some ticky shabby grumblings. Accessible in 3 trims, the base TourX begins at $29,995, which puts it well underneath the $40,000 in addition to Europeans and about $3,000 more than the Subaru. Standard pleasantries are fairly essential: 18-inch aluminum wheels, a rear-view camera, push-catch begin, keyless passage, engine stop begin, a 7-inch shading infotainment touchscreen, a 60/40 split back seat, material upholstery with physically movable front seats, journey control, a lodge stickiness sensor and air filtration framework, LED daytime running lights and emphasized taillamps, warmed outside mirrors, and a 3-month trial of the OnStar 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot. Adornment bundles are not accessible on the base model. Climbing to the preferred trim includes $3,600. This implies a 8-way influence movable driver city weight, auto diminishing rear view reflect 2-way influence movable lumbar for front seats, and the chance to spend more cash on alternatives. A driver confidence bundle, $1,240, incorporates versatile LED headlamps, raise cross movement alarm, raise stop help, and blind side checking. Sights and sounds, $1,870, includes remote begin, a 4.2-inch instrument bunch, a Bose sound framework, and a 8-inch infotainment touchscreen with root, Bluetooth, Sirius XM, and HD radio. The interior protection bundle, $200, comprises of a cargo plate and every climate angle. The best level essence begins at $35,995, a $2,400 knockover preferred. Here you at last get premium highlights, for example, cowhide situates, a warmed guiding haggle situates, a sans hands control liftgate double zone atmosphere control, encompassing inside lighting, and the preferred sights and sounds bundle, however with the Bose stereo and root being supplanted with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Be that as it may, the previous can be included back for $1,095. You additionally get 2 driver confidence bundles that extra comforts like memory settings and auto darkening outside mirrors or driver help innovations like versatile journey control, forward impact cautioning, path takeoff cautioning and its kind. Power Analyzer, a Regal TourX Essence, was optioned with both driver confidence bundles, sights and sounds, a panoramic moonroof, and premium paint. The last count was $41,550. Furthermore, this is the place the vehicle's weaknesses introduce themselves. Buick sees itself as neither a mass showcase nameplate nor a top-of-the-line player. The automaker has situated itself as a tweener, in a manner of speaking. Which is the reason I had no misgivings contrasting its numbers with an Audi and a Toyota. Yet the brand inclines toward premium makes, and in light of that I expect more. For instance, the Lodge is agreeable and appealing, however when esteemed disapproved of Kia and Hyundai alongside littler volume Mazda are offering comparative or significantly higher quality upholstery and materials, I would believe that something as basic as a sun visor would not feel so modest and empty, and have an extender, as well. Likewise, so as to get Bluetooth, one needs to put down $35,465 for a TourX preferred with the sights and sounds bundle. I feel it's somewhat in reverse when push-catch begin and keyless section are standard, yet a sans-hands telephone association isn't. Furthermore, if touting yourself as an excellent brand, shouldn't something be said about ventilated seats? By the by, while the choices bundling could utilize some work, with Buick focusing on the center ground amongst car and crossover, the Regal TourX makes a truly strong case that station wagons aren't the passing of style or sensibility.